I promised you a screencast on a competitive market event study, and here it is. A little bit late. I'm right before class on Monday. Okay, so we had this market, the United States nectarine market, and we had our our competitive market, the supply and demand curves for that market, and then we had the typical firm. And I've drawn these in a graphing software package, so they're nice and neat and tidy. I should have blown them up a little bit longer, but a little bit bigger. But hopefully I can get this done, even with my clumsy stylus. All right, so what happens? There was some sort of a blight that didn't used to exist, but now it exists, and farmers have to treat this blight forever. So every pound of nectarines they bring to market is going to cost them more. So we model this as an increase in the variable costs, which is an increase, not a particularly well-drawn one. I was trying to draw that everywhere 2 units higher than the marginal cost function. Let's pretend I did that correctly, and don't make me go back and do it again. Well, that's going to bug me. There we go. I can fix it. That's better. All right, so what happens is that the supply curve, since the supply curve is derived from the individual firms, that was also supposed to be a parallel shift. Supply curve is just derived from the individual firm marginal cost function, so when that shifts up, the supply curve shifts up. Oh, of course, so too does the average cost function. If the marginal costs have shifted up by whatever it is, $2 a pound, that'd be a pretty 20 cents a pound, whatever it was. If the marginal costs have gone up by some fixed quantity per pound, some fixed dollars per pound, then the average cost would go up by that much per pound as well. So in this event, both the marginal cost and the average total cost shift up because the variable costs have changed. I've got you doing a tap today where just fixed costs change, so things look a little different. I'm going to let you figure that out. All right, so now that's the short run case. Let's map out the short run effects. Notice that in the short run, price in the industry rises, but not by the full amount of the increased cost. So in the short run, firms are going to face a price that's gone up, but not enough to make sure that they keep breaking even as they were doing in the initial equilibrium. So firm output falls, and then when we go to map profits, I've drawn things a little compressed here. That's supposed to be a dot right on that average total cost curve above Q1. That wasn't very well done, sorry. Guess that's worth correcting a little bit. All right, so that's not a particularly straight line. It's supposed to be. So this is P1, this is ATC1. So firms are initially, in the short run aftermath of this event, they're losing money. So this blue area is economic loss in the short run. All right, so that's the end of the story. That's what you do. You map the event carefully in the short run. You determine whether firms are making a profit or a loss, or maybe they're still breaking even. There must be some event where that would occur. And then you ask yourself, I'm going to move over to color red for the long run analysis. And to move from from the short run to the long run, we simply ask ourselves, what are firms that are losing money going to do if they don't expect events and to be temporary? So now there's this increased cost of growing nectarines. Well, over time, some of these losing nectarine farmers are going to exit. They've got land that could be used to grow peaches or whatever. So over the long run, the firms exit. We're going to assume a constant cost industry. That's just to make this problem doable. I'll never ask you to map out increasing or decreasing cost industry problem. I might ask you to explain what those terms mean. All right, so in the long run, the cost structure of the individual firm doesn't change. So we're at ATC prime and MC prime. However, remember that some of these farmers are going to exit. As each farmer exits, we're summing up quantity produced over fewer and fewer producers. So we're going to see a leftward shift in the supply curve, because the market supply is just the aggregation across quantity of each firm's output. And how much exit is going to have to occur? Well, we can look to see how far the price would have to rise to ensure that the survivors are breaking even. And then we know that's where the market's headed. So we identify that price, S double prime. I see that I didn't label my short run market quantity. Meant to do that. Now we'll identify the market price in the long run, and then the market level of output in the long run. So we started at Q naught, short run took us to Q1, long run took us to Q2. Price started at P naught, went up to P1, then went up to P2. Now, the firms, at the firm level, output is going to return to the break-even level of output. And if the average total cost shifted up vertically, as I described, then the profit-making quantity in the long run is going to be back to where we started, at firm level output, small q naught. Now, one more thing, one way to map this event, or what's going on if we map this event in the market for the constant cost industry, we'd get curves that look like this. We're actually on a long run equilibrium in a constant cost industry we'll call it long run supply curve. It's a horizontal line, and we'll see that today. Also, I have you doing a demand event, and you'll see where that long run supply curve comes from. This increase in cost has increased the long run supply curve. And while short run supply curves are upward sloping almost every time, as far as we've ever observed, that's supposed to be a prime. Things are getting sort of messy there, congested. In the short run, supply curves are upward sloping typically because of diminishing marginal returns. In the long run supply curves can be upward sloping in an increasing cost industry, downward sloping in a decreasing cost industry, or as I've drawn them here, flat in a constant cost industry. And I'll talk maybe a little bit in class today about what drives an industry long run cost function, I guess is the way to say that.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.